It begins with silence, the kind that hangs in the air before the storm breaks. The crowd knows what's coming. They've seen the highlight reels, the slow-motion replays of thunderous right hands and opponents crumbling beneath them. But seeing Alycia Baumgardner in person is something different, electric, terrifying, and mesmerizing all at once. She walks toward the ring with the calm of someone who knows exactly what she's about to do. There's no nervous energy, no wasted motion. Every step is deliberate. Every glance is confidence sculpted into motion. In boxing, few fighters embody the paradox she represents: elegance outside the ropes and savagery within them. "A beauty and a beast," she once said. And it's true. At first glance, she's all grace and poise. But the moment the bell rings, she transforms into something primal, something that reminds you why combat sports are as much about spirit as skill. She fights as if the ring is her kingdom and every opponent is trespassing. Alycia Baumgardner wasn't supposed to be here, at least not this quickly, not this convincingly. Born in Fremont, Ohio, she grew up surrounded by sports competition, a fierce belief that talent meant nothing without grit. Her father had been a wrestler. Her family understood the grind of combat. Yet for Alycia, boxing wasn't just a test of strength. It was a language. From the first time she slipped on gloves, she felt that rhythm between discipline and destruction. She learned to punch with her whole body, not just her hands, the way Tyson once did. It wasn't about wild aggression. It was controlled violence, calculated pressure. Standing at 5 feet 6 inches and fighting at 130 pounds, she doesn't look like a wrecking ball until she starts throwing. Her hooks don't just land, they detonate. Opponents describe her power as deceptive. It feels like she's barely touching you until you realize your legs are gone. That's because Alycia understands leverage, timing, and torque. Every punch begins from the ground up, coiling through her core, snapping through her shoulders, exploding on impact. The result is a style that overwhelms. Like Tyson, she doesn't wait, she hunts. Early in her career, the boxing world saw flashes of that intensity. But it wasn't until 2021 that the name Alycia Baumgardner became unavoidable. It happened in the UK, under bright lights, in front of an audience that wasn't expecting much. She was brought in as the underdog against Terry Harper, a local favorite and undefeated champion. For many, Baumgardner was just another challenger, a stay-busy fight for Harper. But from the first round, you could tell it wasn't going to be ordinary. Baumgardner's jab cracked like a whip. Her right hand found a home early. Harper looked tentative, uncomfortable, as if she'd just realized she was standing across from something she hadn't trained for. Then, in the 4th round, it happened. Baumgardner slipped a jab, launched a counter right, and froze Harper mid-motion. The referee jumped in before Harper hit the ground, her body already stiff, her eyes gone glassy. The crowd fell silent for half a second before erupting. Baumgardner stood there, fists lowered, calm amid the chaos. A new star had arrived. She didn't just win, she announced herself. That single moment transformed her from contender to champion. But more importantly, it introduced her to the world as a force of nature. Boxing insiders called it one of the knockouts of the year. Not just for its brutality, but for what it symbolized: the rise of a fighter who carried both beauty and menace in perfect balance. But what separates? Baumgardner isn't just power, it's presence. The same magnetism that draws fans to her also unnerves opponents. In the ring, she has the composure of someone who's been there before, who thrives on the spotlight. Between rounds, she doesn't pace nervously or avoid eye contact. She stares, calculating, unblinking. And when the bell rings again, she goes right back to dismantling whoever stands in front of her. Her combination punching is crisp, economical, and punishing. The left hook, in particular, has become her signature, a punch she disguises behind feints and shoulder rolls until it lands clean. It's the kind of shot that can end a fight or change its direction instantly. Analysts compare her rhythm to that of Tyson not just for her forward pressure, but for how she closes distance. She crouches low, slips inside, and fires in compact bursts. There's no wasted energy, only intent. After dethroning Harper, Baumgardner's path to stardom accelerated. Defenses? Press tours and rivalries followed. But fame never softened her focus. She knew that in women's boxing, momentum was everything. Every performance mattered. Every knockout built her legacy. So she doubled down on training, refining her footwork, tightening her guard, adding layers to her already explosive offense when the unification bout against Mikaela Mayer was announced. It felt like destiny. Mayer was outspoken, technically brilliant, and equally ambitious. Their rivalry played out across interviews and press conferences. Two alpha competitors locked in verbal and psychological warfare long before they touched gloves. For months, fans debated who would emerge as the true queen of the division. Baumgardner entered the ring that night with a chip on her shoulder and fire in her eyes. What followed was 12 rounds of tension, precision, and raw willpower. Mayer boxed beautifully, but Baumgardner's counters, timing, and sheer aggression tipped the balance. It wasn't a knockout this time. It was domination through control. When her hand was raised, Alycia had unified titles and silenced critics who once doubted she could go the distance. It proved she wasn't just a power puncher. She was a complete fighter. Outside the ropes, she became a symbol of empowerment, unapologetically confident, stylish, and outspoken. Baumgardner didn't just fight opponents. She fought perceptions. Women's boxing had long been treated as an afterthought, but champions like her were changing that narrative. Each performance wasn't just a win for her record. It was a statement for every woman who'd ever been told she couldn't dominate in a man's sport. Yet, despite the spotlight, Alycia stayed grounded. Interviews reveal her humility beneath the confidence. She often credits her faith, her team, and her relentless self-belief. The same girl from Ohio who once shadowboxed in local gyms now headlines global events. But she carries the same hunger, the same bite. Fans call her the Bomb. It's more than a nickname. It's a promise. Every time she steps into the ring, there's an unspoken question. Who will she detonate next? Her highlight reel is a museum of controlled explosions, short hooks that lift opponents off their feet, counters that shut lights out instantly, and celebrations that radiate both relief and pride. Her style isn't reckless. It's surgical. Like Tyson in his prime, she reads opponents within moments. She studies their habits, the way their shoulders twitch before a punch, the microseconds of hesitation that give her an opening. Then she attacks. Not wildly, but with precision and fury. Pressure isn't just physical for Baumgardner. It's psychological. She forces fighters into retreat, makes them question their rhythm, and by the time they adjust, it's already too late. Each fight adds another layer to her story. The path from Ohio to world champion isn't paved with glamour. It's built from sweat, sacrifice, and stubbornness. She's faced injuries, setbacks, and criticism, but those moments only sharpened her. Every challenge became fuel. When training gets brutal, she reminds herself why she started to leave a mark. To be remembered not just as a fighter, but as a force. Her influence extends beyond the ropes. Young athletes, especially girls, look to her as proof that femininity and ferocity can coexist. That being strong doesn't mean sacrificing grace, and confidence isn't arrogance when it's earned. Alycia speaks openly about that balance, embracing both sides of herself. The beauty and the beast, the artist and the warrior. Now, every time she walks into the ring, there's an unspoken sense that you're watching something special, a fighter in her prime. Rewriting the narrative of what dominance looks like. When she feints, you see intelligence. When she throws, you see violence. When she wins, you see history. Her legacy is still being written. But one thing is clear. Alycia Baumgardner fights with purpose. Each punch carries the weight of her journey from the gyms of Ohio to the world stage. She embodies the evolution of women's boxing. A sport that once struggled for respect but now commands it as she continues to defend her titles and chase greatness. Fans can't help but draw comparisons to legends of the past. But Baumgardner isn't trying to be the next Tyson, or anyone else for that matter. She's building her own mythology. One knockout, one performance. One statement at a time, because when Alycia Baumgardner steps through those ropes, there's only one truth that matters. She puts on pressure like Tyson, hits like a hammer. and fights like she was born to do this. Call to action, CTA. What do you think makes Alycia Baumgardner so dangerous in the ring? Her power, her mindset, or her composure under fire? Which of her knockouts impressed you the most? And where do you think she ranks among the greats of women's boxing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love stories that bring boxing to life, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dive features just like this one.